Here we are. This is going to be very spoilery.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to discuss.
This is the second third. So chapters 55 through 87, which gets us to the beginning, to the end of day 7, the beginning of day 8. I had heard that the Sanderlanche starts at day 8, and so we figured that was just a good chunk of the section of the book. And it is about the next third, so my bookmark's in the next third.
It's also how fast she read and got to a point, and by the time I stopped her, this is where she was. We approached this with the book open because we felt like it was doing homework because there is so much going on.
So much going on.
And so we are ready to go.
So much going on, but yet nothing happening.
We're going to do positives first.
Okay.
The last time we had an outline,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a decent place to start since obviously we're professionals at this.
Yes. Professionals.
We're not professionals.
No.
We're going to do favorite moments, and then we are going to allow ourselves a minute. We phrased it more politically correct last time.
What did we phrase it last time?
I don't remember, but it sounded better. This time I'm just calling it the complaints section. At the end, again, predictions is a big word, but man, it's just a good word to say, you know, as we ramble a little bit about what might happen. We'll do that at the end. Anyway, so that's like our agenda.
Yep.
We have an agenda this
Yep,
time.
we're
Look,
ready.
We're getting professional. So tell me, what was your favorite moment or part or thing?
I'm not going to say that I enjoyed this moment, but I did partly enjoy this moment because it was something that actually happened. But it was when Cultivation was talking to Odium, and then they had this like clash, and then Odium Taravangian destroys Kharbranth, and he is talking about his daughter and his grandchildren, and they're all gonna die. And it was like, oh my gosh, like, holy cow, he just did that. And that was like his main thing when he took the Shard of Odium, was that Kharbranth was supposed to be saved, and then he totally rescinded on that and he destroyed it.
I was tempted to say that same one when I was thinking about it. And here's why, right? It's not a good moment. It's not a moment you're excited about. But it's this pivotal moment that fits with the overall book. Like, oh, we're looking for conflict and action in these things. And so much of it is just blah.
Nothing happening.
Boy, we could not have practiced that. Like, so much of it is that. And here you have a moment, and it's the bad guy being bad.
Oh, yes. And you want the bad guy to be bad.
But so many other places in this book, it's all about, well, you know,
we're all a little bit bad, and we all got to this place in some way or another.
And there's reasons, and everyone needs therapy, and blah, blah, blah.
Blah,
So,
blah, blah.
okay, we're not doing complaints yet. But that's why this really hits home, and I think is a good, even though it's a bad part, it's a good part.
No, that was a pivotal moment.
Yeah, and that's what we are wanting.
Yes, we want more of those.
And that moment shows how the shard affects the person, though.
Yes.
Taravangian, the person, would have never done that. But
he spent, in fact, I think that favorites, I think that his storyline is one of my most intriguing ones of the whole book, is this battle between him, Taravangian, and Odium, and who's going to win. He's like, nope, Taravangian gets today, and Odium gets today, and he tries to keep them separate, but no, like, we are all...
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work that way.
Since we're allowed to talk about anything, spoilers and whatnot, right? You look at the example of Sazed and what he has had to do holding ruin and preservation, and how at the end of Era 2 we see that crumbling.
Yes.
And it's not working.
Nope.
And man, I like Sazed a lot more than Taravangian.
Oh, yes. Sazed is a favorite.
Taravangian, he doesn't have a chance. He's got one shard, and the other half he was trying to balance was himself.
Yes.
Not going to work.
And himself was already compromised because of his deal with Cultivation. So he does not have the mental fortitude to withstand the power of the shard. The shard, Odium's going to take over.
We could argue that Cultivation gave him that to help him bolster his side, to help him try to balance. That she was shooting for that. I think that was the purpose.
Maybe.
But point is, he's not going to hold up. So anyway, that was a good point in the book. Going on to my favorite moment or moments, Sigzil in general has been a bright spot.
Oh, yes.
In a book full of characters who seem to have they just seem to have fallen by the side of the road and are moaning throughout the book. That's what it feels like. All my favorite people and favorite characters are just falling over and having these deep internal crises while the bad guys run around doing what they want. If I see Shallan, let the bad guys go one more time, for crying out loud. Ain't nobody got time for that. Sigzil is picking up.
You have always enjoyed Shallan, or has not thought as bad of Shallan as I have.
I'm not a Shallan hater. She was a good character. How dumb can you get? How many times can you have the bad guy at your mercy and you just la-di-da away? Yeah. She literally, she needed to just keep stabbing. Sorry to say it. In the spiritual realm, she's got Mraize again. And she'd even already wounded him.
Yep.
And why didn't she finish him off? She had some kind of internal battle and ended up running away.
Again.
No, that was not her chance. That was her third chance. Or fourth. I can't even count. Sigzil, the way he is handling the battle, and what I like about him is he is being proactive, and he is taking on all the responsibility, and he's doing all the things while being himself.
Yep.
He didn't turn into Kaladin, right? I could see the temptation if you were right. I don't know why I'm shaking this. I've got a marker in my hand. I'm willing to
You have an opinion, and you're going to point it at people.
The temptation could have been to turn him into a Kaladin, right? And have him do things Kaladin's way. But no, he's a scientist and a logical thinker, and he's approaching these problems his way. Yes. And he's succeeding.
Yep.
And boy, that's what we want. There's a hero for you.
Well, Sigzil as well as Adolin, I feel like those two storylines I feel like I can get into those and I'm like, this is good. Adolin losing his leg?
Yeah, Adolin, yes. Adolin's right there. Here's my beef with Adolin. Adolin always comes back to this, but I used to be important and now who am I?
Yes. He always comes back to that.
And I get that. Again, I'm all for character growth. It seems like it comes around too often, a little bit too much. So if I had to choose favorites right now, I'm enjoying Sigzil more than Adolin for that reason. Sigzil has the similar, can I be a leader? But that feels much more natural for his situation.
Yes.
Anyway, wow. We don't have any strong feelings.
Complaints.
Should we even allow ourselves to talk about complaints? Because we were talking about the good stuff.
We were supposed to give ourselves one complaint each. You get one complaint. He has a list over here of all of his complaints, and he gets to pick one.
We talked about how we trust Mr. Sanderson to finish this
Professor Sanderson.
And
you're going to pull this out for us.
And don't leave us in this place. My concern is growing. And I almost... the plane's going down and I don't know how the pilot's going to pull up. You're starting to see these tropes appear that are kind of the Sanderson tropes carried from book to book. I had a few examples. I'm just going to mention one, though, that I think is the most stark. It says they go through the spiritual realm with anchors. And they have to find the next anchor to get to the next place. And I'm like, man, this feels really familiar. Where have I heard this before? And then I remembered in the Cytoverse.
Skyward series.
Yep, when Spensa is traveling along and she has to get from one reality icon to the next, essentially.
To maintain her memories and to maintain who she is.
Yep, and to go down the path.
Right.
What was it? Oh, shoot, I forgot. I should have looked it up. The Path of Elders?
Path of Elders,
The Path of Elders. It feels, the spiritual realm feels like another version of that. Yeah. Now, it's one of those things that now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. And it's like, oh, come on, please. Let's do something else.
It doesn't bother me as much. I did not see that when you pointed it out. And I still am kind of like, oh, it's different enough for me that part doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do more examples later. I'll see if I can bother her. It's pretty easy. I can do it. Anyway.
Yes.
What's yours?
Roshar and the world that has been built is a world with warlords and kings and slaves, and you can't even look at a woman's left hand, and the men don't even read. And yet we are introducing very modern day themes that don't match the world at large. I feel like that prior to this, Brandon handled the mental health issues well. He handled other modern day things that we deal with today in that world. They were presented in a manner that matched. And this book, he doesn't care. I mean, the Highspren of Szeth goes to Kaladin for therapy. That never would have happened in that world. I don't care what Hoid Hoid is the one who told Kaladin, well, this is therapy. And then Kaladin like latches onto it like, oh, I know what therapy is. My biggest complaint is that Brandon has completely thrown out what is true to Roshar. And he's kind of on an agenda and decimated Kaladin, the character, in the process.
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Could it be said, though, that Kaladin, with the surgeon's background, is inventing therapy for Roshar, thereby giving it a natural introduction to Roshar?
This came up in an online forum, and somebody mentioned in Rhythm of War Kaladin going through PTSD and developing group therapy. Did he go through PTSD and go to his bridge mates and create a group that supported him? Yes. We all knew from a modern standpoint looking in that he had PTSD and that he was going to his group of friends for support and for, quote, therapy. He did not know that that's what he was doing. That's what he was experiencing. He knew that he was having a hard time and he was able to walk himself through it through the help of all of his friends, and he came out of that a better person. But in Wind and Truth, rather than I'm going to go with this friend and I'm going to help him in all of the things that he needs to do and I'm going to help him walk through it, it is I'm your therapist and I'm here to fix you mentally, rather than I'm here to help you walk through this. It's a different angle coming at it, and it's a huge jump for me that Kaladin would be like, yes, I can now process through this. It doesn't match.
And we did talk about a little bit last time, the focus on the idea of therapy, which actually is not the same topic as mental illness.
No.
It's a theoretical treatment, or it's addressing that, making that a central point of the book, I think is what
Brandon has obviously put all of his cards in that and has made it the main theme.
Wow. So what have we learned from this? We need a little timer per topic.
Yeah.
We need a little timer so it goes ding in our 30 seconds.
I was caught monologuing. I'm sorry.
On a topic there. I think we all went on that journey with you.
Thank you.
That's what we're doing here, sharing our opinions.
Yes.
Maybe someone will disagree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree that it has slowed down the book and, this is my opinion, ruined some characters.
Absolutely.
I think Kaladin, even
Kaladin.
Dalinar made a comment about, I think he was talking to Gav.
Yes,
I don't have time to listen to your feelings right now, I'm sorry. And it's just like, wow, who in this situation, the Blackthorn says that?
Yeah.
It
just doesn't match.
Weird. Anyway, I'm going to pause.
Okay.
Apology. Retraction? What's the word for this? Last time we did this, we made a rookie mistake. We used the name Gavilar instead of Gavinor. When I went back to post the video and do the stuff, I couldn't believe that.
Are we true fans?
We will humbly accept any ridicule. Our apologies for that. Okay, that's for fun.
Yeah.
A little bit of humility is good for all of us sometimes. Predictions. Again, I don't like the term predictions. Last time I said, and this is where Gavinor came up, I said Gavinor's going to take a bigger role.
He did.
And he is. He's there. He's involved. So far, they haven't used the time, I'm going to say time dilation, not the right term. They haven't used the time manipulation to make him older or whatever.
No.
So I think I was wrong, and hey, that's the fun of doing this.
And we only have 3 days left. Like, we have to 8, 9, 10. That's it.
So we'll see. But so far, no dice on that one. What was your prediction last time?
That Kaladin was going to die. Frankly, I feel like Kaladin has been left by the wayside and he hasn't made any progress. And who the heck is Kaladin in this book?
He may or may not die.
He may or may not
die. Or do any other things we said. We just may not care. But I don't care.
I don't care by that point. Poor guy.
She's going to get a knife that warps the air and stab him herself. Wow. Vicious. We're hitting a new level. I'm going to throw out an idea also for the end.
Okay.
This is in keeping with my comment before about how these Sanderson tropes keep coming up, and you start to see, right, the same twists and turns across different books.
Like the Lord Ruler not being the bad guy.
Right. Yes. And what happened at the end of Era 1? It all went to pot.
Yeah.
The whole thing Yeah, they never saved it.
No.
It crumbled.
It crumbled. It was destroyed.
And it was, could they rebuild out of the ashes effectively? Essentially, the good guys lost. That's where I think we're headed. I think Odium wins the
day.
Contest.
Does Odium take up a shard? Does Taravangian, as Odium, take up another shard?
Oh, take second up a shard of honor? I don't see that. It could. To me, it wouldn't feel right for his character and his character arc. I think it's more likely that we get rid of Taravangian and someone else takes it up. But that feels too quick. But I could see that. Yeah, I think it would be a very Sanderson-esque move. And so it's almost one of those things where you start to expect the twists and turns.
Yeah.
Now, this could be just as wrong as my last one, but these are for fun. That's what I got.
The next time, we'll be done with it, which means that I can start reading it again.
That's really what we're doing here, clearing the way. What prediction or whatever would you have?
So somebody mentioned online that Brandon had to go in and finish Wheel of Time for Robert Jordan because it got out of hand and it was slogs through books 5, 6, and 7, right? And nothing really happened. And they said, this is kind of doing that for Brandon. And I have read a couple of the Wheel of Times, and I would, while I have not read all of them, I would say that this is a slog. So not my favorite. It is at the bottom of my Stormlight archives, unless he pulls it out in the last 500 pages, which is how much we have left.
Maybe. When you say you've read a couple Wheel of Time books, which ones?
I've read the first 3.
First 3. So she didn't actually get to the slog.
I didn't get to the slog because it was already a slog before that point.
And the last time I read the whole series, I didn't even notice the slog anymore. Okay, around book 9 is where anyway, it drug in a few spots, but overall it was good. So maybe this will age well.
Maybe it will age well. I will say that I did start reading Wind and Truth, over listening to it, and that made a huge difference for me. So I am going to I'm going to read the last little bit of it, and I can skip through the parts that I don't like.
So we did our stuff.
Yep.
I want to throw out one more question. The Kaladin and Syl relationship seems to be, it's headed
too
off.
Intimate?
No, headed off the rails. You know what? If there was like some weird situation where they became an even tighter like couple or whatever, I don't know how that would work. Like they have a relationship that you could build on, and it could, and I just don't know that that's possible between human and Spren. But for some reason, you can't fall in love with an idea. Anyway, so what do you think's going on there though? Where do you think that's headed?
I haven't thought about it much.
Really?
Yeah.
She's becoming more substantial. She can touch him. She can affect things in the real world.
Right.
She is becoming more
human.
Human, or she's manifesting more physically, I think is probably the Cosmere way to say that. Cosmere? Cosmere way to say that. I can say that wearing this sweater.
Yes, you can.
And at the same time, though, there's a separation happening, and he is distancing from her.
Yes.
We expect Kaladin to, in some way, meet his demise, one way or another here. So we might be preparing for that. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if you had any other thoughts.
No, I haven't thought about it at all.
Oh, well,
no thoughts.
That makes it easy.
Now I'll pay attention to it as I read the last 500 pages.
Well, we're excited to see where that goes. For me, it's a scary proposition. I think he has kind of ruined Kaladin, and I think he's on the cusp of maybe ruining Syl for me. But that hasn't happened yet, so I'm holding out hope for her, at least if you trash one main character. Let's not trash 2. We'll see. Okay.
Oh,
wow.
I hope that there's a big battle at the end. Please let him find a way to pull this out.
You say you want Kaladin to be in a big battle?
Yes.
Oh, yep. He's the spear-wielding bridge boy we know and love?
No, he's not. Not in this book.
You can't have a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man who doesn't sling webs at the end, okay?
Yeah.
So...
make him swing webs.
We're way over time.
We are way over time.
I do have a concern as I try to figure this out. I'm worried about Brandon's beta reader group. Brandon talks so much about how he puts these books out and really tries to soak in the feedback he gets. And that beta reader list gets longer and longer.
It's so long.
Some of these complaints, it feels, we've said this, like, man, this doesn't match his works. I just wonder.
Did any beta reader point this out?
Or Is he following the lead of the beta readers? Is he giving them too much ability to direct and influence his work? If so, this is very self-serving. You should let me be a beta reader.
Oh, he will give you all the what fors. That's for sure.
I would love that job, but also, if not me, I want somebody who kind of represents the defend the walls. I want a watcher at the rim for these books and for the rest of the Cosmere.
Mm-hmm.
And this is totally random. This could be unfounded. This could be untrue. It could be that he had multiple beta readers yelling at him, "Hey,
you're going in the wrong direction.
Kaladin is off the rails. Let's pull this together, man." And there's a number of opportunities for that. If that didn't happen and my application is no good, find somebody, please. The sad thing is we haven't read it, but the book's published. It's sitting right here. Within these covers is going to be our elation or disappointment.
Yep.
And so it's done.
But it's all down to the last 500 pages. And maybe I will go back and I'll just read the last 500 pages because that's the only thing that was worth it.
Maybe. Okay, we're excited to come back to this in a week or so.
Yes.
And we'll give it another grade school try, and hopefully it's all better then, and we're singing the praises of another awesome 5-star Brandon Sanderson read.